What's going on, everybody? Mike McFarland here, going to give you a public rundown for December 13th, Tuesday, December 13th, Lake Fork exclusive public rundown. It's the middle of winter, and we are having some wet times. It's not heavy, but it's wet, and it just keeps staying wet, which is great. It's keeping the ground wet, so the creeks are trickle flowing, and then every time we do get a little bit of excessive rain, it goes right in the lake. With that being said, let's just tell you about the lake. So we have gained a lot. 39758 and still climbing. Another big storm coming through today should hopefully bring some substantial rain. Let's hope. And maybe we'll get lucky and be 398 by Wednesday or Thursday, which is basically 5 feet below full pool. We are right now 5.5 feet below full pool, which is exciting. So it's on the rise, and really, a lot of our biggest rains come from more into spring, March, end of February, March. This time of year, we tend to have cold fronts, sometimes 2 or 3 cold fronts a week, but they're not really substantial amounts of water, meaning, they'll half-inch, quarter-inch. Some of the March rains can be 3, 4, 5 inches. But two things. Number one, be careful out there still, because the water's rising. Honestly, there's a level between like 3 and 5 feet that is more dangerous than when it's down 7 feet. When it's down 7 feet, most everything's sticking out at that point. There's a few hidden underwater, but the water gets low enough that most everything is exposed. And sometimes it's easier to idle into the backs of the creeks and things like that because you can see where to go. By the way, a little public tip. If you happen to be on the lake right now, that you should be doing your homework. When the lake is at its lowest, you should be, idling your trails, making some trails, learning about where things are, marking stuff, lay down logs and things that you see out of water, lay down trees, root systems. But anyways, let's not go there. I'm just trying to help the public. That's what us guides do. I've made probably more marks this year than ever before when the lake was at its lowest peak. The first couple of years I was here, the lake was low, but I was learning the lake back in 2013, 2014, 2015. And so I really had to focus on each quadrant of the lake and really getting to know the lake. This last time that it was low, I didn't need to learn the lake. So I went out intentionally marking everything I could see, every lay down tree. I went crazy. I probably put 400 or 500 waypoints of really cool stuff that when the water comes back up, I'm going to know exactly where to throw that bait. I'm also going to be able to come up and creep from a distance and stealth on that stuff too. But 0 to 1 clarity. I redid the board, if you can't tell. It should be a little cleaner and fresh again. And then mid-50s, 54 to 56 on Monday. Mid-50s. The reason I'm putting mid-50s is a lot of fluctuation. We just had a really warm spell for like 6, 7, 8 days, even though it was really wet. We've had a very good warm spell. And so it's sitting in some weird places, weird temperatures. And they're straying all around the place. If you're down south, you may find something different than if you go up north. It's fixing to change. After this storm passes today, we really drop in temperatures, and it looks like 30s and 40s, which is going to pull a lot of this temp out of the lake. Hopefully we flood, bring some more water up. Like I said, I'd love to see another I'd love to see another half a foot of rise in the lake right now. With the water being kind of warm like it is, you can catch fish shallow. There are some fish shallow. Rattle traps are probably your best bet. We don't have grass, so there's not a lot of grass to look for. There's very little bits of sparse grass. Most of it is really weird. There was some grass trying to grow back before the Sealy event. Very little amount. It was so little amount I never talked about it. And then when the water came up, that 24 inches from the Sealy event, that grass just died. It's weird. I don't mean shoreline vegetation. I mean grass is growing in the water. But rattle trap, just go chuck and wind a rattle trap if you're going to fish shallow. A jerk bait thrown through some of the points and timber can catch some fish. Chatterbait, spinnerbaits, those kinds of things, just run and gun. It's still not fishing the best. It's just, for some reason, Lake Fork in the fall doesn't fish real well. And that's okay. Those fish are there. The fish we caught last spring didn't disappear. They didn't go down river. They didn't go up river. They didn't die. some reason they're not doing the typical fall stuff, and we haven't ever run into them. None of us at all. There's not a guy in the lake that's had a consistent bite day in, day out, and it can tell you where those fish are and what's going on. They run into a few, they go work real hard, they grind and catch a few fish. The best thing to do, two things. Number one, if you got live scope, go find the fish with live scope. You're going to find them tight to the trees, and then work them with different baits: swim jigs, crank baits, jerk baits, Alabama rigs, underspins. Work the fish and get the fish to react to you. Got to have live scope. The secondary one, which I think is probably a better bet to go catch yourself some big fish, is at night. And there's not a lot of night lights with the low lake. That's why I'd also like to see it come up some more, because so many docks are out of water. But there are night lights out there. There are still quite a few night lights out there. And if you can get out there and find them night lights that are underwater, they're fiber optic type. And I don't mean dock lights, I mean underwater lights. They generate a little warmth. They have energy coming off of them. The shad tend to hang out there all winter long. And so the few sets of night lights that are out there are definitely still producing big, giant fish, okay? Not a lot, but you have a better, if you come into Fork and want to catch a big fish, you got a trip planned here, you should probably consider fishing at least once at night, okay? A couple other things I want to tell you. Some of the surrounding lakes are excellent. So also, if you're coming to make a trip and it's on your books and you can't change that and you don't want to, you're here for Christmas or whatever, and you're visiting family, you want to fish. A lot of the surrounding lakes are fishing pretty good. Like Athens is fishing pretty fair, Gilmer's fair, Quitman, Winsboro, Holbrook. They're fishing pretty decent. Just typical fall stuff. Crankbaits in the morning, soft plastics like Texas rigs and shaky heads around the docks in the afternoons. You can also go to Lake Welsh or one of the power plant lakes. There's a couple of power plant lakes down south. Martin Creek, Brandy Branch, Lake Welsh. These are power plant lakes. They're crushing fish. The warm water fisheries are the way to go. You really catch a lot of fish. And just go fishing. Basic fishing, okay? Do your thing. And you'll run into fish. Like when I go to Welsh, I love to throw a spinnerbait or a chatterbait or an underspin above the tops of the grass, but I really like to get on the edges of the grass, and I'll throw a jerk bait this time of year. I'll throw a weightless fluke, or really a weighted fluke. I'll take a weedless Texas rigged fluke, and I'll put a nail weight in the head of it, and I'll fish it on the edge of the grass. Hard to beat. Watermelon red, you're going to run into some fish. Okay. Couple other things. I'm going to start to the public report, including some Lake Fork area news. Just minimum. It's going to be in regards to mostly fishing and things, but just some information that you should know about. Lake Fork Marina, the launch ramp has been reopened. The lake level coming up has put enough water for Lake Fork Marina Motel to open their launch ramp. It's one of the best facilities on the lake. Has a great motel to stay in. One of the cleanest, finest, most five-star operations that we have in the area. Has an excellent restaurant, Lavelle's Restaurant, there to eat food at, and a really cool store. The little mini store that they have there reminds me of going into Bass Pro Shops. It's so first class. It's so up to date. It's really, really nice. So you can find a lot of your stuff there, your baits there that you need, Berkeley products, Abu Garcia products, all kinds of stuff like that. Fishing line, lures. You can also find out what's going on there. A lot of the guides tend to hang out in that area. So that's another great thing to be there. Also publicly, because I think a lot of you are locals that do watch this channel. You probably already know, the locals probably already know, but some of you that travel here, Sidekick's restaurant on the Highway 19 burned down. It's really, really sad. No one was injured in it, but it was right in the middle of a big dinner service. And it was devastating. There are 22 employees out of work. There's a husband and wife who have lost their lifetime restaurant, their dream of running a restaurant. I know God works in mysterious ways, and he gives and he takes. And the hardest thing in life, I think one of the hardest things in life is to accept, to be grateful when God gives and to accept when he takes. I read something the other day that really, really hit me hard. And the most painful tears aren't the ones that fall from your eyes and cover your face. the most painful tears are the ones that fall from your heart and hurt your soul. And so just think of those people that are out of work right before Christmas time. Think of, in relation even just to the time of year, so many different people going through things, and maybe you aren't. And so that's my reason of sharing this publicly. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas isn't about us. It's about the Lord and the Lord being born. And so I hope that touches someone out there. I hope it gets in your hearts out there. Be kind. Be thoughtful. You never know what someone else is going through or what they've been through. And sometimes for a lot of people, the holidays right now can be a really, really tough time. So I lost my mother when I was a little boy. And this time of year is quite tough for me, no matter what, even though it was over 40 years ago. It's not memories that pop in my head. I can't even explain what it is. And I'm not crying poor me. This isn't about me. I'm just sharing with you that this time of year just always comes a little hard for me. And it seems like the tradition, for some reason, history repeats itself. Things just, for whatever reason, don't tend to go my way in this time of year. And but it keeps me humble. And like my neighbor, for example, right now underwent major open heart surgery yesterday. And out of the blue, I got a phone call to watch his house, watch his dog, pray for him. And it's those reality checks. Like, I'm sitting here doing a rundown, talking to my friends, talking to good people, having a great cup of coffee. I'm healthy. I worked out yesterday. I'm going to work out today. I'm going fishing. I'm going fishing the next several days. I'm heading out, and I'm healthy. So thank you guys, man. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the subscriptions. They seem to keep growing. I hope that I'm improving, giving you enough public information. And when spring comes around, I promise next year, I will make sure you're getting enough information on Fork. Not as much information as the members only. It's only fair. Members only channel pays $4.99 a month to get the goods. They deserve it. Not that you don't deserve it, but I'm not asking an arm and a leg. So this again is an invite. If the public information isn't quite enough and you feel you want some more fishing information, just look, go in the description below, click on the members, join the members channel. While you're in the members channel, you can decide whether you want to be a basic member or an upgraded member. The upgraded member is called Let's Talk Fishing. In the members channel, you get a much more upgraded fishing report. You really do. I tell the colors, the baits, the sizes, what's working, what's not working, how to use it, where to use it. I give locations. In the upgraded members channel, you get that too. You get the included members channel, but the upgraded members channel gets an additional one video a week and maybe more, but it's a very intentionally teaching lesson style video. I pick a topic, usually offered by the client or the members themselves, and we discuss and have a 20, the last one was 35 minutes, and I discussed scent attractant, additives and scent attractant. And I went through 20 different types of scents that you could possibly choose to use from the old school stuff to what they're doing today, to baits that already have it in there. And so the upgraded Let's Talk Fishing is really, really valuable, and it's $9.99 a month. But it's also going to include a winner every month that gets a care package of gifts from my sponsorship positions and pro staff positions. I'm going to be throwing t-shirts in that every now and then for a once a month winner. And then once a year, I'm going to have at least I'm going to have one drawing a year for a fishing trip with me. So realistically, if you do the upgraded channel you do the members channel for $4.99, you get all the great fishing reports in detail, right about hot Lake Fork and more local. You get the upgraded, it's additional $5 more, which times 12 months, that's $60 a year. You get all that information. You get a shot every month to win a care package. Care packages are going to be super, super awesome. And then you got a shot also to win a free guided trip with McFarland Fishing and the Lake Fork Guide. All right? Hit the like button if you found this good. Comment below if you have any comments or suggestions you want me to talk to you guys about. And thank you very much for watching.